In 1922, Caroline and Eastham Guild, along with their 4-year-old daughter, set sail on an adventure to Tahiti from Holland. They had been lured by Frederick O'Brien's Mystic Isles of the South Seas. While the Guilds were coming from Holland, where they were currently living, they were originally from Boston. The world of tropical and tiki cocktails is often filled with Polynesian artifacts, decorations, masks, and interpretations of those cultures, but it turns out that none of those islands in the South Pacific served drinks from the Caribbean or served any Cantonese food. Those were just kind of made up, exotic combinations that were based on the idea of a far-off place. But that obsession for many for the exotic world of the South Pacific wasn't created out of nothing or just in Hollywood. These fascinations with these distant locations and the adventure of a lifetime had been popular in the decades leading up to the first tiki bars, and the Guilds were one of those families to follow those desires to the exact places that they had read about. But like all things, Tahiti did not turn out to be the place that they dreamed of, but they still made it their home, and not long after arriving, they even built a home of their own that they would call Te Anuanua. The Guilds lived in Tahiti until the summer of 1940. Tahiti was a province of France, and as World War II enveloped Europe, the consequences of that war would be felt in far-off places like Tahiti. When France fell to Germany in 1940, the Guilds knew that the newly formed Vichy France government was just a prop government that answered to Hitler, and since Tahiti was France, they left and resettled in Hawaii. A few years later, they made their way to a restaurant in Oakland run by one of their friends and were served a cocktail, where either Carolyn or Eastham Guild exclaimed, "Mai Tai." But as residents of Tahiti for 17 years, you'd probably expect them to have a better understanding of the language of the phrases from Tahiti. So they probably exclaimed, Mai Tai. That's the correct pronunciation of the word, and this is why I love the internet. I'm being sarcastic. The amount of people who correct the pronunciation of orgeat is very funny to me, since I've actually never seen anyone ever correct the pronunciation of Mai Tai. People say things differently depending on where they're from, and that's totally okay. So the Guilds named the Mai Tai in 1944, and 4 years later, in 1948, Carolyn Guild would write her autobiography, Rainbow in Tahiti. This book is known to the diehard Mai Tai historians, but when I came across it, I just imagined it was a small book, maybe self-published or not a big deal. But when the book came out in 1948, Carolyn Guild went on a book tour, and the release of the book and the events around the release were mentioned in hundreds of newspaper articles across the United States. And this is at a time where the Mai Tai was not mentioned at all. So today's cocktail is just a little tribute to Carolyn Guild and Rainbow in Tahiti, to bring a little more awareness to the people that named this drink, and to make a small variation on the Mai Tai with some more tropical flavors you might find in Tahiti. Now, Te Anuanua translates to the rainbow in Tahitian, and to make this one, you'll need lime juice, orgeat, passion fruit syrup, banana liqueur, and of course, a fine Jamaican rum. The man himself said to shake this one, and he also said to always
follow your recipes.
That's why someone made them. So we're going to start with 3/4 ounces of lime juice, 1/4 ounce of orgeat, 1/4 ounce of passion fruit syrup, 1/2 ounce of a banana liqueur, and 2 ounces of a Jamaican rum. I'm going to garnish this with some mint, passion fruit, and don't forget an orchid. So there you go, Te Anuanua. So Let's try it. Well, it seems like it should be like a huge departure from the Mai Tai. I can feel the DNA of the Mai Tai in there. The banana liqueur comes through, but it's not too strong, even though half an ounce. That banana liqueur usually works well in half an ounce to even quarter ounce increments. And then just a quarter ounce of the passion fruit adds that passion fruit flavor, but it's not too much. And that's adding some more acidity too, because we use a little bit less lime juice. But obviously if you are garnishing with the passion fruit, that's kind of the sign there, but there's a hint of it there. It's not too much. It's just a little bit there to provide a little more tropical flavor. It tastes like, I don't know, I think it kind of tastes like what I wish had you gone down the road of creating a tropical Mai Tai instead of using just a bunch of juices like pineapple juice and orange juice and then syrups. Like, granted, just do this banana liqueur and then, you know, some passion fruit. That makes a good change up to the Mai Tai, but you can still get the feeling that it started as a Mai Tai. And those tropical flavors, as well as those fruit notes, they play really well with Jamaican rum. Appleton 12, it's not the most funky rum out there, and you're getting lots of that oak in there as well. So if you wanted to change it up and use something that has more of those banana notes, more of those tropical funky fruit flavors, that would work well here too. I think just having Jamaican rum is kind of like the only criteria really to adhere to. What's fun about this drink and the penultimate Mai Tai and then this thing going on at the Tiki, it's really all just coincidence. Kevin had something going on there and asked me about it, and I told him I was working on this cocktail in this video. I think I started putting this video together probably 3, 4, 5 months ago. And the penultimate Mai Tai too, that was like something we talked about probably 3 or 4 months ago. And just kind of the timing worked out. So there's just this fun story behind the Mai Tai and how it got its name and the people behind it. And I talk about these things sometimes. You could watch the history of the Mai Tai video I did, which kind of does a deeper dive into the ingredients as well as Caroline Guilde and some of the discrepancies in that story. But it's fun to revisit those things. I know not everyone's watching every video, but sometimes these, I think, key points, it's good to reiterate from time to time about, you know, where they were in the world when this happened, how they named it, how everyone says it wrong, and that's okay. And really just highlighting those people who just randomly one night in Oakland, California, in the middle of World War II, named the most famous tiki cocktail of all time. And one more thing about the Guildes, I did kind of put this video together many months ago, and just randomly one day, I think on Discord, Kevin Crossman sent this link, and there was someone on YouTube who did this kind of like deep dive into the Guildes. And I'll put a link to it. I don't know the name of the video off the top of my head, but I'll put a link in this episode's description if you want to check that out, because I watched through some of it, and there's like a ton of stuff in there about their lives. So if you have a little more interest in the Guildes and maybe don't want to read this whole book, you should check that video out. But that's it for this one. It's the Te Anuanua, the rainbow, named after their house in Tahiti from when the Guildes lived there back in the 1930s and 1940s. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like below. Consider subscribing to this channel if you want to support this channel more. Check out the Patreon page. And otherwise, we'll see you on the next one.
Sing, sing with joyous heart.